Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up, the Bills! It's not outside! It's not outside! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Told me now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping, they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping. We on a mission. Got an unstoppable team. Continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
Cause we done Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we done Buffalo.
And a good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond 716. And usually I'm used to saying, welcome to Whittle 2K. He will be here a little bit later tonight. We don't know what time, but we will trek on, as difficult as that is. And believe me, it is, without the one and only Whittle, but we will go forward. And what do we have to talk about? Well, a lot. We will go through and recap the Bills' big Week 3 win over the Miami Dolphins. We'll look ahead to Week 4 at the New Orleans Saints. We're also going to get into some other topics. I want to talk about a topic that we're going to get into. Has Bills Mafia become spoiled? We're going to get into that a little bit. Yeah, Whittle is late, so he shall be here. We look forward to it. And that's okay. He's going for the fashionably late entrance this evening. So we love that. So, and as Bills Mafia becomes spoiled, we're going to get into that a little bit with some examples as well. We're also going to get into Sean McDermott's comment today. One particular very, very interesting comment about one of our prized rookies. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. And I'm going to start this too. This is an open mic Wednesday. This is something I just thought of today while Whittle's here. If any of you are in the group chat, if you want to take a mic, you don't even have to come on the camera if you don't want to. If you're camera shy, no problem. If you got something you want to talk about for several minutes, you could join me. By all means, let me know. Send me a private message at Beyond716 on Twitter. Would love to hear from you. So if you have something you want, especially our frequent flyers. What's up, dog? It's great to see you as well. Speaking of, we love your energy every single week, brother. I hope you're doing well. And so again, let's kind of go back a little bit and talk about this game this past Thursday. And the stage was set. Miami was reeling. It looks like it was going to be an easy win, at least on paper. And I did predict the Bills to blow out the Dolphins. But I got to tell you, I got to be honest. Deep down inside, I know how history is with these teams. And I know how history is within the division. And we're going to get into that in a second as well, about how history can teach us lessons about this type of game. But Miami came out with a purpose. We know, when you're 0-2, when you're 0-3, only 6 teams in modern football have made the playoffs from an 0-3 start. Now, some of that information, we're going to have to see how that plays out as we move into the 17 game schedule and even the 18 game schedule and see how that looks in many, many years after that. But at this point, when you're 0-3, it's almost a death nail for your playoff hopes. So Miami knew this coming in. You knew their season was on the line. Miami has their flaws, as we know, but we know they still have some solid players on that roster, right? When they're clicking, Tua could be very accurate. They got playmakers. They got a pretty solid front four. They do have some issues in their corner room, as we know. But again, this is a division game, so they came right out at an excellent start to the game, scored right on the first drive after a nice kick return. Buffalo responds immediately with that 7-play, 70-yard drive, as we do. And let's give a shout out to Dalton Kincaid, folks. We talked about it on this pod. I didn't want to put him on bust watch, but we kind of did, right? This was a guy that we've heard about for really since we drafted him. Now, I do think we put a little too much on him about the Travis Kelsey, comparisons. I thought that was a little just too much for any player. But we're starting to see what we were hoping from Dalton Kincaid from a consistent point of view as well. And thank you so much, Michael. And we appreciate you as well. And again, if you're just coming in, if you want to take a mic, let me know. This is Open Mic Wednesday. I would love to hear from you. We're hoping that Whittle should join us later. So by all means, if you have something you want to say, even if you don't want to come on the camera, send me a private message. You could come on for a couple minutes. We'd love to hear from you. So you are the most important part of this show. We couldn't do it without you. So the Bills respond 7-7, right? Again, just great to see Kincaid, what he's doing. And, the Bills missed some opportunities. Matt Prater missed a field goal, 48-yard attempt. And then Miami had a very solid 16-play, 70-yard, 1-yard drive. Again, just not a lot of deep stuff down the field. Tua was coming on. Mike, if you want to come on, by all means, we'd love to have you. So just let me know, send me a message, and I can fire you over a link. Send me at Beyond716 on Twitter if you would like to do that. So Tua, to their credit, they took what they gave him. It was a solid, methodical drive, and you could already see it. This was going to be one of those Bills-Dolphins games that we've grown accustomed to over the years. And the Dolphins, Miami outgained Buffalo 179-129, despite the score being 14-14 at halftime. So kudos to the Dolphins. I'm going to say this, and this is not always something I like to admit here on the station, but the one thing about Whittle and I, we're going to give it to you the way we see it. Miami played a very solid first half, considering the guys that they had out on the back end, considering the circumstances walking into a place where they just have not played. It's been a house of horrors. Buffalo's been a house of horrors no matter where they play. They could play in Dublin, they could play in Mexico City, they could play in Buffalo. It doesn't matter, or Miami, of course. So, but for the Bills, you knew that mentally they had the upper hand. And even as a fan, when it's 14-14, there's no panic here on my side. Hey, it's Miami Buffalo. It is what it is. And again, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the other team in certain situations. Again, I thought Miami wasn't spectacular, but I thought they were playing what I would call inspired football. They had some grit. They showed some moxie at times in this game. And then, of course, what separates the good teams from the top teams in this league usually are just a few plays, right? A couple of moments within the game that you look back and say to yourself, yep, that was it, right? We've seen it many times as we sat through our drought years with the Bills Patriots. I mean, do you remember the Ryan Fitzpatrick pick in the end zone where we lost to New England, the Leonis McKelvin fumble against the great Patriot teams, where we had moments when you watched our games against New England, you're like, wait a minute, Buffalo's got some shots to win this game. And I'm going to tie that into one of my points later on in the show. But having said that, the big penalty, scores tied at 21. Miami's of course, they fought back. Again, they drove deep into territory. Again, Tyreek Hill for a 5-yard touchdown. They tied the game at 21. Now, when they tied the game at 21, nervousness started kicking in just a little bit. But then, as the great Pierre, our good friend over at Buffalo Fanatics, always says, remember who we have, folks. Always remember that. And I remember number 17's on the sidelines. We're going to be okay, right? And then the score was tied at 21, 10 minutes to go. We had a 4th and 7. It's like, whoa, looks like Miami's going to force a third straight punt. Now it starts kicking in a little bit. Maybe this isn't going to be our night. Maybe this is the night that Miami breaks through. Well, Huge penalty. Zach Zeeler roughing up Cameron Johnston was the right call. I just do not understand why they would even consider blocking the punt at that point. You had momentum. Were going to stop the Bills on 3 straight drives, which is not an easy task to do by any stretch. And you had them, and they let them off the hook. And as you guys know, as you ladies and gentlemen all know, when you have a great team on the ropes and you give them that window, that little crack, they come through. And that's exactly what the Bills did. 5 plays later, Allen throws that 15-yard touchdown to Khalil Shakir, and the Bills take that 28-21 lead. So we got a back and forth game. This is probably more than we bargained for as Bills fans, right? You're thinking going into this game, ball cap Josh, fourth quarter, he's going to be on the sidelines. Mr. Brightside's going to be playing in the third quarter. Didn't happen. And then here comes Miami down again. They start coming down with a drive. They come down inside the 21-yard line with 3 minutes left. And then who makes the big play? And I know he's out there somewhere and he's going to come on. His ears are ringing. Whittle's guy, and our guy, Deion Walker, coming through the line, making a huge play. And I believe he got a tip on that. And if anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Deion Walker got a deflection on that pass to Jalen Waddle, and Terrell Bernard comes up with the big play. Just what a big moment for Deion Walker. It's almost like his introduction to the basically to the Buffalo Bills fans and to the lore. That's one that we're going to remember. Huge interception, and then the Bills just basically seal it out. Matt Prater 48 yards, and we win by 10. Josh Allen, economic, 22, 28, 213, 3 touchdowns. Again, no interceptions. 25th straight game where the Bills win the turnover battle, NFL record. Folks, I do not know if you really understand how incredible that really is. And there have been teams out there over the years. There's going to be naysayers out there, and I'm already hearing Chief fans. Well, they had to reel in Josh Allen because all he does is turn the ball over all the time. It's not that simple, folks. And, this is a good point, too, by Michael. Deion did tip it, and Bernard still intercepted it. I agree with you on that. Definitely. And I do agree that he had a beat on it, but just a great play by Deion. And again, showing why we drafted him, showing the things that we miss and lack at times in this defense to be able to make those big plays at those big moments, maybe when the defense wasn't having their night, right? We still have to show it against the big dogs like the Kansas Cities, the Baltimores, and we'll get to that later too. But it's just a great sign to see that Deion came up with that big play. So here we are. Bills are sitting at 3-0. We're in a great position. And again, Josh Allen has been incredibly economical. I believe 1 pick and 30 total touchdowns in his last 13 games. I mean, that's just astounding. That is excellent, excellent. And don't tell me it's just about dinking and dunking and anybody could do it, because if it was that easy, anybody would do it. Just remember that. Anybody would do it if they could do it. It's not that simple. You have to play this way against the Bills because of the threat Josh Allen gives you every time he's under center. And they're gonna get easy play, not easy plays. I don't want to say easy, but they're gonna get things that are gonna present. And Josh is taking them over and over again. And eventually, yep. And I agree with Dog. It's decision making too. That's a big part of it too. It's his quick decision making. And don't forget, Josh is one of the quickest releases from where you hold the ball to when you release the ball. I believe the ESPN used to have that guy used to do all the breakdowns of how fast it was. He was Tom Brady, 3.5 seconds. And he said there's very few quarterbacks I've seen with that quick of release. And when you have the arm strength that Josh Allen has, just those little quick passes to Khalil Shakir, where he gets it right around that defender. Not every quarterback could do that quickly. You don't have that little bit of difference in the time from release to where the ball gets past the defender. Some other guys will have it knocked down, they'll get it picked off. So Josh Allen's natural abilities, God-given abilities, are really paying off in those situations. So it's such a great time right now as we start the season. But we know we've learned our lessons, right, as Bills fans, right? If this was 2019, 2017, where we just coming out of the drought, we'd be beside ourselves. 3-0. We're cracking open champagne. We're going crazy as Bills fans. I remember when we beat the Patriots in 2011 and we went 3-0. I was at the Bills Club in Los Angeles. We had the cops show up for disturbing the peace. We were going on the streets, going wild over that game. We thought we would have won the Super Bowl. Right? It was in the middle of the day, and we had fans in tears. It was incredible, and we just went to 3-0, and the difference in our tone and the difference from our basic really just how we're operating as fans is really starting to change. And we're going to get into that in a second here. Michael, I'm going to send you a link here. I apologize. I'm a little bit behind as I'm trying to. It is really tough without Whittle here. So I will say I miss Whittle as I always do, but we do hope and expect that he will be here, but he's got some other pressing needs. And how life is, there's some other important things that we all have to take care of. So by all means, again, if you want to join us, if you're listening out there, if you want to come on, this is Free Mike Wednesday. But there's my next rant that I want to get into is about the result of this game. Now, the Bills win by 10. 10 points is not an easy number to win by in the NFL. It's not. But you heard the tone of some of Bills Mafia after this game. Disappointment, no balls down, throws down the field. It's just a lackluster win, blah, blah, blah. Listen, there's one thing history can teach you a lot of lessons. Now, sometimes it can mislead you, but sometimes it could teach you things. Now, I was in a space and Mookie had a comment about, the Jim Kelly teams would have never let this happen in the 90s, Super Bowl year against a team like Miami. So I decided to do some research, as we can do this day and age, and found this out. So the Buffalo Bills from 1990 to 1993, the Super Bowl era, the golden years that we all hear about. Let me go through some of the scores. 20-16, 17-16, 17-24 loss, 16-10, 27-24. And I believe there's another one, 17-14. I think there was another one. Pretty tight scores, right? Pretty close games. They even had a loss. You know who that was against in the Bills' 4 Super Bowl years? A team that would have combined 18-38 over those 4 years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the New York Jets, a divisional team that was downtrodden, that the Bills owned. You see how tight the games were? We cannot lose sight that division games are tough. We've seen Kansas City over the years have tough games against Oakland. They've had games against San Diego when they were in San Diego and now in Los Angeles, where the downtrodden Raiders last year. Remember, they had them beat. They had them dead to rights with who was their quarterback? Aiden O'Connell. They had them dead to rights. Folks, the Dolphins were a very desperate team. They have a solid roster. They are not void of talent. They know our tendencies. We know each other. You know that they were coming in. Thanks, dog. I appreciate you, man. I always do. And listen, we cannot lose sight of this, folks. I couldn't believe that. Some fans were being petty after a 10-point win over the Dolphins. I'm like, what? Like, we beat, okay, it wasn't the prettiest game. We're coming off 3 days rest. It's a solid win. We got it done. We didn't have our best, but we got it done. That is a wonderful sign for the Bills, folks. Wonderful sign. So we move on. Not every game is going to be a 30, 40-point blowout, folks. It just doesn't exist. Look at the point differentials in the league. Do the math. If a team is a plus 150 and they got 10 wins, divide it by 17. I mean, they don't win by much. Maybe teams win by 6 or 5 points. So on the average, 6, 7 points. It's not. So 10-point wins are something to celebrate. It was a very good win for Buffalo. It was a great night. You love seeing the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick moment with Josh after the game. That was awesome. Folks, this is a glorious, glorious time to be a Bills fan. I hope you understand that this is the Super Bowl era right now. It isn't in terms of making the Super Bowl, but I will argue it's even better because the Bills are more popular now than they were during the Super Bowl era. During the Super Bowl era, we were looked at as, well, we're the AFC, we're inferior. All the great teams are in the NFC, which was partly true, but the Bills were not looked at very favorably after the first or 2 Super Bowl losses. They wanted them gone. They were tired of us, right? Understand where we are as fans, folks. So Josh Allen's one of the most likable players in the league. Deion Dawkins, one of the most likable players in the league. we have so many great players on this team in terms of talent and also just on and off the field. You guys got everybody enjoy every single solitude second of what you're seeing right now from this franchise. But I've gone on for about 20 minutes now, and I do see we have someone backstage, and he was just in here, and I'm going to bring him up here. Let me get the split screen going here, and don't mind me, Michael. Welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good time without, the one and only Whittle. I figured we could have some of you on for a little while. So just kind of interject to me how you're feeling overall about this team right now and where we're sitting.
I'm ecstatic. I think we're doing really well. I love how we won week 1 against the
Hmm.
Ravens, showing that we have no quit in us, that we will fight and play until the clock hits 000.
Hmm.
And just the grit that we have in our team and the consistency on offense and the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Moxie, maybe, or just like, just
Um,
resiliency, maybe resiliency. Good word,
yeah,
maybe.
resiliency, just
Hmm.
being more tough. And especially on
Yep.
defense, I've noticed we've been better at tackling, the fundamentals of tackling and all
Hmm.
that stuff. Um, I'm just really ecstatic about the team right now. And I'm excited for the guys that come back off suspension and injury. And
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
just
yeah, that's a
ecstatic. I have no words.
that, that's a really good point too about the players coming off injury. I mean, Michael Hoyt is
Yeah,
going to be coming back, and Owen Joe. I could never pronounce his
I
name,
know.
but
I just
one
call
of
him
these
Larry O.
days, Larry
Yeah,
O, and my apologies to Larry O. We love you on this
yeah,
team, but what those guys are going to bring in, and also the other thing too, Michael, is the decision that Brandon Beane's going to have to make when they come back. That's going to
yeah.
be. I bet he's already. That's going to keep him up at night after that game. Like, what do I
I
do
kind of
here?
have an idea who it's going to be.
Oh, do you have a thought? Yeah, I'd like to hear what you got to say.
I think it's Solomon.
Who's that?
Solomon?
Ooh, yeah, he
Yeah.
could be. Yeah, I mean, you know how
I
Bean
just,
loves his picks, but
yeah.
this guy's been on he's been on the brink here a little bit now for a
Yeah, the
bit.
past,
So
what, a couple of years now?
yeah, yeah,
And
I
it's like,
I, I would agree.
yeah, I don't think he really fits what we really want to do. So I
Yep.
don't know.
I would agree because because Hoyt kind of fills that role. I mean, he is like
He
a chess
does.
piece. You can kind of move in and out.
I
So
think he's
I
that
think
secret piece and
Dog
weapon that we
agrees
need
with you.
on
Yep.
the
See
edge.
ya. Yep. Yeah. I think I'm with you on that one. I'm gonna be in
Yep.
agreement. So, who do you think the number two guy would be? Do you have a thought on that? Who would also be gone?
That's tough. Um,
This is where it gets interesting for me.
I don't know if I have an answer for the second guy, but
Yeah, and if anybody else has a thought on that, maybe a Shaq Thompson. I mean, as much as I don't like that, maybe I mean Joe and GC Buffalo Joe. That's going to be interesting there to
I
see what
was thinking
happens.
Buffalo Joe because I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know if he's quite ready yet. Maybe put
Hmm.
him on the practice squad.
Maybe, yeah. He feels like he's a
Um,
guy that could be. He probably would be pretty
he's
happy
got
staying on the
potential
Bills for.
though. He's got potential.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think.
I'll give
I
him
mean,
another year or so.
yep, absolutely. And listen, just the fact that he made the NFL is incredible. I mean, when you
Exactly.
consider
Yeah.
his story. But it's
Exactly.
going to be. It's almost like a trade deadline without having a trade deadline, right? And is
Yeah.
there? We'll have to see if Bean dips in for safety or somewhere else on this roster. I'll have to see what
Yeah.
what happens on that. So
Yeah. I do kind of have
say
a
no
hot
to
take on
say no to
Curtis Samuel.
Lackawanna Joe. Oh, there we go. That Carl says that. Hey, listen, I know I have a soft spot for Joe as well. And
Yeah.
that's another thing too. Would he make it to the practice squad? We got to consider that. So, okay, you had a
Yeah.
thought on Curtis Samuel. So, have at
Yeah, like I don't know if we're gonna use him or not, or if he's just a
it.
safety blanket, but I don't know what's up with him.
Hmm.
But I don't know if we keep him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're willing to bite the
Yeah.
bullet on it.
Yeah, you don't. Now, listen, I don't know if there's a trade out there where the Bills use him as a possible piece with draft capital
Yeah.
to upgrade. If there's a team that's
Hmm.
willing to take on a salary, maybe there is. Maybe.
Yeah.
And this is a wild thought. The team we're playing this Sunday happens to have a receiver who's young,
Chris Olave.
very Chris Olave, really talented.
Yeah.
I love him as a player. Don't know if New Orleans would part with him and what it would take to get him in Western New York, or if he
Yeah.
really fits exactly what we're trying to do. But
Yeah.
Chris Olave would cook with Josh Allen.
Oh
There's
yeah, he
just
would.
no question about it. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
see at the cost. I think they'll trade Samuel. Yeah, I agree. We have a agreement here, and Carl says they will trade Samuel
What's up,
as
Carl?
well. What's up, Carl? And yep, and Dog says take Chris Olave in a heartbeat. So we'll see. Maybe it's a
Yep, I would too.
scouting trip. I mean, you never know. I don't know where New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is a team that, let's be honest, they're in a tough spot. They're 0-3.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't. They have a lot of cap issues. They need a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Carl? Good to see you here as well. And keep those comments coming, guys. And again, if you want to be a part
Yeah,
of them,
absolutely.
come on up here. Let me know. Send me a private message, and we can get you on here. It's kind of like, figured we'll do like a little free mic Wednesday. Yeah, since once until our Whittle will arrive at some point, I'm sure. I
Yeah, we
don't know
missed you,
what
Little.
time. I know it's not the same without Whittle here. It's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
could do
Little's
about
my
20
guy.
minutes, but I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, Whittle, where are you?
yeah.
So, uh,
I've been hearing a lot about people saying that the Saints are tanking to
yeah.
pick up someone in the draft.
Well, I think they need to tank for a couple of reasons. I think they need to flush
Mm-hmm.
out some of the guys on their roster.
Yeah,
I got to look really a little deeper at their contract situations. I don't know if Alvin Kamara has a lot of term left, but I would think if he
I don't know
doesn't,
either.
maybe a team would be interested. He's still a good running back, and still a guy we got to take
Yeah,
seriously
yeah.
this Sunday. Just kind of keep an eye on him. But they do have some
Mm-hmm.
pieces on defense that are interesting. But
Chris
I
Olave
don't.
too. Gotta watch out for him. So
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they do have quarterback issues.
yeah.
It kind of, it's funny when you see teams like this, right? It kind of brings me
Uh,
back to the
yeah.
drought years, right? When you
Oh
see
yeah.
teams like this. And for
I was
me, I
alive for
always
all
have a
that.
honest, you know what? I always have a little soft spot for those teams too, to be honest, because
Yeah.
we've been through it. We've been there. So anyway, but we'll see. So the Miami game again, solid victory. Again, we
Yeah.
move on, and folks, and again, the Bills Mafia. Maybe it's just a victim of our success, right? We're so
Yeah.
spoiled, and we expect these big, huge wins all the time.
But
But
again, it's
hey,
also a
it's
division game, so they're always tough.
Mhm. Yep.
And
This is a good point too.
I feel
Oh,
like fans of football always tend to forget
mhm.
that.
That's very, very true. Dog brings up a
Yeah.
good point here. Good reps for the rookies, and listen, Deion Walker and
Exactly.
TJ Sanders are getting good experience here. I mean,
Yeah. I like to
even
see
Landon
TJ Sanders
Jackson.
get a little bit more.
Yeah, and he's been doing okay. He hasn't
Yeah.
really popped off the screen yet.
Yeah. No, Deion
But
Walker's been hitting a lot faster than Sanders
Mhm.
has. So
Yes, and I thought maybe he would have more of a learning curve, Dion, but
Sanders,
he
yeah.
really, yeah, and but
Yeah, I
so
agree.
far he's been uh, he's been more than advertised. So very, very
Yeah.
happy with that. And
Mm.
another good point here by Carl. I was happy to hear Josh says he does not forcing things anymore. And yeah,
Yeah, I love to hear
he's
that.
taken his he's really taken he's elevated his
Yeah.
game
Oh yeah.
to another level, and it's probably slowed down for him a lot more. Again,
I
he's
think
always
it's
been
almost completely slowed down for him.
yeah, yeah, and I think, but the beautiful thing about Josh is, and we saw it in the first game, when he has to
Yeah.
dial it in and he has to get aggressive, he can still do it, and it's there. And listen, it's only September too, and you
Yeah.
know, I'm sure we got
Still
stuff in
early.
our bag that we're going to show later in the season, right?
That's what
So,
I was saying too. I'm like, that's why we're not really showing a whole lot because we've
mhm.
had an easy schedule so far, and it's like we're just taking what the defense gives us. And I think we're kind of closed in on our playbook a bit. So I think we're going to expand it as the season progresses.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so we have some other items to discuss here. We
Yeah.
will move in on that. So let me take a look here, and I want to bring a graphic up on the screen.
All right.
And I agree with Car. Just putting up some more comments here. This is a good point too. I hope that those nerves calm down for the Chiefs, and I want to actually talk about that Chiefs Ravens game coming up this Sunday. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you, me personally, when I look at the Ravens right now, I see the 2020 Bills staring me right in the face. The 2021 Bills. What am I
Oh my
talking about?
gosh. Yes.
What I'm talking about is a team that has quote sexy results, right? They
Hmm.
pop off the screen
Yeah.
analytically with these huge games.
Yeah.
But when you punch them in the mouth, when you smack Baltimore like this, and you get them in those dogfights right late in the game, they don't come through all the time. Like they're very
No,
spotty. That's
no.
how the Bills were back then, right? We saw it Monday night
Mm-hmm.
with Detroit, right? That game wasn't as close as the score indicated. I mean, Detroit won that game
No.
by 14, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think we got to root for. Honestly, I'm rooting for Baltimore. I want
So am I.
Kansas City knocked out. Kansas City
Yeah.
is a team that they don't care what position you're in, right, Mike? You could be down 10 in the third. They're like,
Yeah.
no problem, we're good.
It's
Mahomes will
Andy
start
Reid and
bouncing.
Pat Mahomes. Come on.
Yeah, 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 and even Spagnolo and Chris Jones,
Yeah.
and
Guys are
they just
defensive
know
genius.
they know, and it's like what Carl said
Mm-hmm.
about the nerves. And but
Yep.
I agree. I think Josh is really coming to his own on and
I
off the
agree with
field
Dog.
here. So we definitely have done that. So
Yep.
hey, well, without further ado, I think I'm seeing some life. And ladies and gentlemen, we
Is
have
it
a
Whittle?
third person. Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Let's three box it right now. Let's get the
What's
one
up,
and the
Whittle?
only Whittle 2K. How you
There's
doing?
my guy.
No,
There he is. We brought Mike on. I went about 20 minutes. That's about the max for me, Whittle. Then I say that's it. How you
not
doing?
a problem, man. I
So
get it.
how's it going, Whittle?
Good, good.
Good.
I'm good, man. How you guys doing? Trying
Doing
Good.
to add
well.
a couple of things.
Absolutely. We just got to put up some comments. We so far, Whittle, just to get you up to speed. I went over the Dolphins Bills game, but feel free to interject anything else into that. And we started moving into, are we spoiled as a fan base? Winning by 10. Some of the comments we heard after the game, and
It's a division
then we're
game. A win's a
and we're
win.
gonna move it. Yep, and we're gonna move
That's what it comes down
into
to.
the injury report and stuff like that. So, floor is yours, Whittle.
Okay. No. I'm just trying to plug a couple of things in here really quickly.
Sure.
But see where
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's waiting for you. Whittle, look at this. Dog's waiting for you. Mike's waiting for you. So you're all here. But maybe as Whittle gets set up here, how about the Bills fans pay the bills? How about we do that, Whittle? Maybe we could get that done. And we will be right back, folks.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollo's, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Okay. Thank you for allowing us to do that. And we are back.
Yeah, no, just about the game, man. I mean, at no point, I don't know if what you guys talked about yet, but
Mhm.
listen, at no point during that game was I worried about
Mhm.
the Bills potentially losing. Like it just wasn't. It just never felt like the Bills weren't in control of that game. Um,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah.
will say this from the standpoint of uh, people complaining about. I just want to address a couple of complaints that I've seen on Twitter and through some of my group chats that I have with people, other Bills fans. The complaint about the run defense. Um, so against the Ravens, Derrick Henry obviously ran for a bunch of yards. Um, but against the Jets, we held the Jets to 100 yards total rushing as a team.
Mhm.
And that was good. Everybody said, "Wow, the defense really played well despite not, despite missing Ed Oliver and not having the guys that we normally have. It was fine. Everybody was okay."
Mhm.
And then we play the Dolphins, and we give up 40 more yards. And everybody's losing their mind. Like, oh my God, what's wrong with the run defense? A-Chain at 62 yards rushing, guys.
It's nothing.
62 yards. Ali Gordon had 38 yards rushing. Well, I think it was like 9 carries or something like that. Well, 11 carries, 38 yards. What's the problem? Like I'm
Mhm.
confused as to what constitutes good run defense and bad run defense because giving up 200 plus rushing yards, bad. Giving up
Mhm.
100 rushing yards, good. Giving up 140 is now bad again because that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Or 160 or whatever it was. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I just I'm trying to figure this out because it just doesn't make sense. Let's see, Bills
I'm
versus
trying to look.
Dolphins. All right, here we go. Let's pull up player stats. Yeah. Uh 62 yards for HA, 38 yards for Ali Gordon.
Ollie Gordon.
It's 100 yards, guys. Tua had
Any
10
cat.
yards rushing, and Malik
Yep.
Washington had 20 yards. The wide receiver had 20 yards off of like an end around, a couple end arounds, whatever.
Mhm.
That's it. It's 130 yards rushing. It's 130 yards rushing. What's the complaint? So that any other thing. So that like I I don't know what you guys are watching. If you watch that game and thought to yourself, man, the Bills can't stop the run. I didn't see that. I saw them run the football because they're a very fast team and they're coached well, but there were no big explosive long touchdown runs. Like pretty much, kind of held all of that in check. There weren't a ton of explosive plays in that game, so I'm yeah, I don't know. I just find it weird. I didn't understand it. Um,
Mhm.
you know. The
Yep.
other thing, uh, the other complaint that was coming out was the Bills are not throwing the ball downfield enough. We need to get another wide receiver, the weapons, yada yada yada. That is an adequate complaint. Third down defense, 100%. Um,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I'll get to that in a second. But
Yep.
guys, now I need you guys to understand something. Let me put this up here. Now it might be a little small for some of you guys to see, but you see those two guys sitting by the 30-yard line. Those are
Yeah.
safety
Mhm.
that are too high. Those those safeties are sitting there because they don't want to allow the Buffalo Bills to get a long play downfield. So what does Josh Allen do now? He's going to take the intermediate stuff. He's going to take the short stuff and let guys get yards after the catch. Or we run the football. They were doing this all night long.
Mhm.
They were doing this all night long, guys. So here's another play. Same thing. Different
One for two.
formation. Under
Mhm.
center. We are under center with multiple tight ends on the field. And they are still in too high.
Mm.
Guys, you wanted
Yeah.
the quarterback. You wanted the quarterback to play to be smarter. You wanted the quarterback to take care of the football. You wanted the Bills to dominate the turnover numbers, right? You wanted Josh to elevate his game. You wanted him to play better, be more, be better for us, right? This is part of it. When you see two safeties high, we're gonna run the football because especially it's this thing called a box count. When you get up to the line of scrimmage, you count how many people you have at the line that are going to block for you. So we're in 12 personnel, which is two tight ends, one running back. We're in 12 or 13, right?
Yep.
We are going to count tight end, left tackle, center, left guard, left tackle, tight end. That's 7 guys. Now, on the other side, we're counting the box from the defense. What do they have in the box? What do they have in between the tackles? We got, if it's an odd front, it's a 3-4. You're gonna have three guys, three defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, right? If it's an even front, four down linemen. It could be two, safe. It could be 2 linebackers and a safety, 2 linebackers and a nickel, whatever. But if we get to the line of scrimmage and we have 7 on the line, and they only are committing 6, then we have the advantage, the number advantage in the box. When teams play those 2 safeties high, they are giving you an advantage in the box to run the football. That's why the Bills are running the football, because teams are saying, I'd rather you drive the field, in 10 plays, take underneath stuff, we'll come up and tackle, and, run the football on us. But we're not going to let you score in 3-play drives like it's 2021 again or 2022. We're not letting that happen. We're not going to let guy like Gabe Davis get behind a corner and we don't have a safety over there to help out. We're not allowing that to happen because we know, despite whatever receivers the Buffalo Bills have, we know that Josh Allen is capable of elevating those receivers around. So a guy like Keon Coleman, who may not be the fastest guy, doesn't create a ton of separation, right? That was true last year. This year, he does, but that's enough. We'll talk about that later as well. Josh Allen is going to kill us if we don't protect against a deep play, especially teams like Miami, who've been burnt by Josh Allen to the tune of 14-1 over the last 15 games. They're going to protect against the deep ball. They're going to protect against the explosive play because they've been burned by it so many times. So when you watch these games, I want you guys to start looking at not just what the offense is doing, but look at what the defense is coming out in. And then that'll give you that'll give you insight on what the offense is probably going to do. If you go out there and you see they've got 4 down linemen,
Oops.
and
My bad.
no, you're good. If they got 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers in the box, and they're spread, they got nickel, corner, and corners playing off coverage and 2 safeties deep, and we're out there with 2 tight ends. Josh is probably going to hand the ball off. He's probably going to hand the ball, or he's going to get the ball out quick, and guys are going to get yards after the catch. So now when they load the box, right? If you go to the game against the Ravens, go back to the play where Joshua Palmer had that 30-some yard gain, or I think it was 34 yards or whatever it was, or the tight end Jackson Hawes put that deep ball in the 4th quarter. Go back and look at the alignment. The Ravens were in single high, 1 safety deep, right down the seam. Jackson Hawes, Josh ripped it right down the seam, right to Hawes, had on his back. Big body target, hit him right in the numbers. Boom, he juggled it a little bit, makes the catch, goes down. Other teams are watching that and saying to themselves, he's hitting the 3rd tight end in a critical moment down the seam against, single high, cover 1, cover 3, whatever it is. We're not the Ravens, so why should we expect our guys to be able to handle what he's done to the Ravens? Let's protect against that by putting 2 safeties out there, and we're going to entice them to make this a long, drawn-out game where we limit possessions and we just try to hopefully get lucky with a turnover, or we get enough stops, and then we can win because we score more points and we've got the ball last.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And
way team.
Miami, yeah, they almost did it too. They almost pulled it off.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, 2 or 3 interceptions.
Yep.
They ran into
Mm-hmm.
like if they don't run into the kicker there on that
Mm-hmm.
punt, on that punt, I mean that it might get
Could
a
be a
little
whole
dark.
different situation.
Yeah.
It might get a little dark. It might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so I wanted to talk about the other thing, the third down defense. The third down defense is a problem. It's been a problem since last year. It's continuing to be a problem now. Um, the only thing that I can say in regards to that right now is we are missing Matt Milano. We are missing Ed Oliver. We are still missing Michael Hoyt. We're missing Maxwell Hairston. Trey White's out there. There's a certain amount of protection that Trey White needs at this point of his career because of the injuries, back to back to back with Tom and then even still, like you're going up against a guy like Jalen Waddle, who's, a legit 4-4 guy, can get downfield, he can stretch the field, he's very, very fast. You don't want to press a guy like that on third down because if if he gets behind Trey White, that's an easy completion. Potentially a touchdown. Because we don't have the fastest safeties either. So some of this third down defense is limited based on the personnel that we have. Taylor Rapp's
Mm-hmm.
not the greatest athlete. Um, Trey White's limited. You know, let's be honest, Taron Johnson is not as young as he used to be, right? And we're missing some key guys as well. So I'd like to get more from the pass rush. I'd like to get a little more from Rousseau. I'd like to get a little more from uh, TJ
Epinesa.
Sanders and AJ Epinesa. I'd like to get a little more from those guys, but you know, I have to really get into. I'm gonna go and study um, the third down situation that we had over the last, couple of games or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
see if there's anything that stands out. Um, the other thing is like Benford honestly hasn't played. Uh, he hasn't played lights out football yet. He's been fine. I think the defense has been fine. Like we got cooked by the Ravens because it's the Baltimore Ravens. But I thought defensively we did it. I thought defensively I was fine with both the Jets and the Dolphins game.
Yep. Yeah,
And
we were 30th in the NFL in third down conversion in
yeah,
24.
I mean
Now
the
we're
Dolphins were
23rd
like
this
10 of
year, but
11 or something like that. The
yeah,
Dolphins were great on third down at home last.
percentage is still dreadful. That's about 44%. Not good. Not good at all.
10 to 15, man.
Yeah, that's
The
unbelievable.
Dolphins were 10 to 15 against us on third down. So that's
Hmm.
that's where that comes from.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yep.
Again, well, like you said, Whittle, we're going to get Michael Hoyt. We're going to get Larry O back, as we talked about earlier. We're going to get some other pieces in here, and further development of guys like Deion Walker and some of the other guys up front. And I do think we'll get that. If we can just get at least middle of the pack there. If we could get that percentage down 8 to 10%, I think we'll be in okay shape going forward.
Yeah, it'll get better. It'll get
Yeah.
better. I mean,
Mhm.
and guys, like, come on, like, stop crying about Trey White. All right,
Yeah.
he's doing what he needs to do. Like one of the biggest concerns I had with Trey White was how much was he going to help in the run game, and he absolutely blasted a screen like one of the I can't remember what play it was. I think he came down and hit A chain. We literally stonewalled him in his tracks, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't be upset at that. I can't be upset at that.
No.
You know. But do you want to get into the Saints preview?
Of course, yeah,
Yeah, let's
absolutely.
do
We
it.
haven't really done anything on that yet. So we
Okay.
could pivot to the New Orleans Saints, and those New Orleans Saints right now. I mean, Whittle. I mean, I'm sure their fans are starting to do NFL mock drafts like we have in our drought years. I mean, it's not looking very
Yep.
good for them right now going into this game. But
No.
any concerns from your point of view? Anything that you want to highlight from the Saints side of the things going into Sunday?
Um, Yeah. So, well, a little background on the Saints. The Saints, obviously, they're 0-3. Um, they play in the NFC South along with the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time we played them was I think it was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. It's
Mhm. Yeah.
2020. No, 2021. Excuse me,
Yep.
2021. The last time we
Yeah.
played them was 2021.
Thanksgiving.
Um, Thanksgiving, and Trey White went down with the
Mm.
ACL.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he tore his ACL
Unfortunately.
in
Yep.
that game. Um, One of the highlights from that game was Stephon Diggs
Oh,
making Marshawn Lattimore breakdance in the end zone. It was
yeah.
a filthy route.
That was so
Yeah.
funny.
Absolutely destroyed that man. Yeah,
Yeah.
he absolutely destroyed him. But
Yeah.
so about the Saints, they are, clearly right now one of the worst teams in football.
Yeah.
They're 0-3, with losses to the Cardinals, the 49ers, and I just had it. Hold on
Seahawks.
1 second.
The other game I remember from the Saints was McDermott's first year when the Saints absolutely
Seahawks.
dismantled the Bills 47-10. You remember that game? McDermott's
Yeah.
first year when he broke the drought. Oh, that was a bad one. But anyway, I digress. But
So
yeah,
yeah, the losses to the Cardinals, 49ers. I mean, those are one score games, and then they got absolutely blasted by the
Thank you.
Seahawks.
hmm
Um, so you know, that was a tough game to watch. I mean, they start the game off by giving up a special teams return for a touchdown. They had a few turnovers that gave Seattle short fields. I mean, it was just anything that could go wrong kind of went wrong in that game.
hmm
Um, one of my draft guys that I wanted was Torrey Horton out of
yeah,
Colorado State, 95-yard touchdown on a punt return. Um,
yeah,
yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba looked great that game. Sam Darnold hit him with a throw in like triple coverage, tight
hmm
window throw, hit him down the field, makes the catch through contact. And, I mean, it was just bad. Before you knew it, like by halftime the score was 38-6. So I mean, what can you say? I mean, it was just a
yeah.
just
Yep.
a terrible, terrible game for the Saints. Um,
Mhm.
but the Saints come in with a ton of injuries, and it's unfortunate because I'm not going to say that they have a great roster, but their roster does have talent. But they come into this game with some injuries. Trey Palmer questionable. Devon
Mhm.
Veely, the slot receiver, 6'4", 6'5", I believe he is.
I
They
believe he
traded
is.
the
Yep.
Broncos. They traded with the Broncos to bring him in.
Yep.
Chase Young's questionable. Their tackles, both Fuaga and Rados, both those guys are questionable as well. Vernon Broughton, the rookie out of Texas, defensive tackle, he's on the IR. Julian Blackman, safety, played a bunch of
Yep.
years with the Colts. He's on IR. Jalen Pope, wide receiver that they traded um, with the Patriots to acquire, he's on IR. Yeah, it's
Oof.
just like the standout tight end they had last year, Foster Moreau. He's on IR. Taysom Hill, the gadget guy, IR.
hmm
John Ridgway, the third defensive tackle. He came out the draft a few years ago. They called him the Vanilla Gorilla because of his size. Um, he's on IR.
Yeah, I
It's
got a lot
just
of
like
injuries.
They got a lot on
Bub
there.
Means. I don't know if y'all
Mhm.
remember Bub Means from Pittsburgh, a wide
I do.
receiver that we talked a little bit about.
Um,
We
IR.
did.
Will Clapp played for the Bills last year.
yeah.
Yep.
He's now a Saint. IR. Yeah, like they've had a ton of injuries, and it is unfortunate. But
Mm-hmm.
even despite that, um, they still have I'm going to say they still have some solid pieces, especially on the
Yeah.
defensive side of the football. Um, defensive end Cameron Jordan, he's probably on the cusp of, you know, Hall of Fame. I mean, like his
Yeah.
career is pretty. I mean, he's had a really good career
Yeah,
I've heard
as
of
as an edge. Um, Brian Bresee, the defensive tackle. Well, they haven't played defensive end, but he played defensive tackle in college.
hmm
Um, Another guy we talked
Look
about
at
during the draft process, kid out of Clemson, very 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 good player. Demario Davis, perennial All Star and inside linebacker. Um, Chase Young is questionable, but we'll see. Corners, Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama
Mhm.
last year. Isaac Yiadom, I don't know who that is. I mean, I've seen
I'm
his
not
name a bunch
familiar.
of
Yeah.
times.
I'm not
Not a
either.
player that stands out. They did draft Quincy Riley out of Louisville, although he hasn't really earned a ton of snaps. The nickel slash like he could play corner. He could play outside. He can play safety. Alante
Mhm.
Taylor out of Tennessee. He was drafted, I believe, in the same draft as Elam. I believe he was drafted in
Mhm.
the same draft as Elam. I would have
Oh, okay.
loved to have taken Alante Taylor later in the draft and not drafted Elam, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
hmm
And the safeties, Justin Reed, former Kansas City Chiefs
That's right. Oh,
safety.
yeah.
He's got a couple of Super Bowls.
hmm
And then the safety out of UVA, Jonas Sanker, the guy that we talked about as well on this pod, uh, leading up to the draft. Jonas Sanker, 6 foot, 6'1", 210 pounds, hard hitting, fast, athletic safety. Would have loved to pair him with Cole Bishop. That would have been a nice safety tandem going on into the future because
hmm
Jonas Sanker's more of a uh, traditional free safety. Like he's comfortable in that single high field safety style of player. He's more comfortable in that. Couple of other guys that stand out that they picked up that if you've been paying attention to the pod or you've been watching, especially during the draft, these names will stand out to you. Christian Boyd, nose tackle out
hmm
of
Yeah.
ooh, Northern
Northern Iowa, I believe, right? Northern Iowa?
Northern Iowa University,
Yeah.
NIU, I believe.
hmm
Um, and Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of Oklahoma,
Yep.
6'4", 230, athletic sideline to sideline type of player. Um, Kind of raw, but, got all the physical tools you ever want. So, and then you look at the guys they have special teams. This is where I'm a little worried about the Saints being able to, get some points without actually ever playing an offensive snap. Um, Velus Jones Jr. is a kick returner, and then they have Kendry Miller, Keandre
hmm
Miller. I think it's Keandre or Kendry Miller. I
Andrew
believe
Miller.
he played for like the Texans or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Um,
Don't quote me on that. Raheem
mhm,
Shaheed, Rashid Shaheed is their punt returner. He's also starting wide receiver alongside
mhm.
of Chris Olave. Brandon Cooks is in the slot. You guys know who Brandon Cooks is. Played
Yeah.
a
Oh,
long
yeah.
time in the league. Played with
Yeah.
the Cowboys most
Mhm,
recently.
Patriots.
Um, Calvin Banks, rookie left tackle that they drafted this year. Trevor Penning, they drafted a few years ago, but he didn't pan out at tackle, so they moved him into guard. Uh, Luke Fortner's on this team. Yeah, we talk about Will Clapp. I mean, some of these other
mhm.
guys, like, I don't even know who they are. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Trey Palmer's on this team as well. Trey Palmer's tough. I like Trey Palmer. Of course, you got
Yeah.
to talk about Alvin Kamara at running back, who
Yeah.
is like a do-it-all, pass catching, running back who kind of specializes in, just kind of everything. Like he can run the football, he's quick, he's elusive, he's an excellent
Yep.
receiver out of the backfield, very, very dangerous in open space.
Mhm.
And apparently he's pretty good with his hands because he knocked the guy out in Vegas and got in trouble for that. But
Oh,
yeah, Alvin Kamara's a beast. Like I like him a lot. They
Yeah.
also drafted
yep,
this kid, Devin
yep.
Neal out of Kansas.
Hmm.
I like Devin Neal. A
Hmm.
little slow, but very good vision. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Devin Singletary, extremely shifty.
Yeah,
He's bigger.
Mhm.
He's a lot bigger than Singletary, but
a little bit.
he's one of
Yeah, a
those like
couple inches
shifty
bigger.
running
Yeah.
backs. Yeah, tough to kind of get a good grip of, and then before you know it, he's by it. Uh, and then Spencer Rattler beat out the second round pick Tyler Show out of
Hmm.
where did Tyler Show go? I mean, he went to like
Oh,
every school. He went to like four
yeah, I
different
know.
schools.
Louisville. I know Louisville's
Jeez.
where.
Yeah, Louisville. He was
A lot
drafted
of
out of
schools.
Louisville.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. But Spencer Rattler's the starting quarterback. He won that job. This is his first full year as a starter. He played last year as well. He started some games for them last year. But Spencer Rattler, out of University of South Carolina, also he played at Oklahoma. Um,
Hmm.
in my opinion, he's a solid quarterback. I think there is some talent there, although
Yeah.
um, we haven't seen a lot from him yet.
No.
But
Hmm.
I do think that there's some meat on the bones there for him. Um, so far, I believe his passing yards is like 639 pass yards, so he's averaging 213 passing yards per game. Um, Reminds me of Baker Mayfield a little bit. Not nearly as talented,
Really?
but a
Wow.
similar
Wow.
style player. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
similar style
I gotta
player.
watch him. Yeah,
Uh,
I
Okay.
remember him a
look,
little bit in college, but not. It's been a bit,
yeah, he's
so
a little
I don't.
Yeah.
short. He's on the
Hmm.
shorter side for a quarterback, kind of built stocky. Um,
Hmm.
he has a level of arm arrogance that you see in highly rated quarterbacks in high school, and then
Yeah.
they get to the college level. Like he's one
Hmm.
of those guys. I
Yeah.
like him. I like Spencer Rattler. Um, I think I think that he deserves to be the starter. I think he's going to be a solid NFL quarterback, whether that's as a starter full time or as a high level backup, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Hmm.
I think he's a good player. And
Yep.
hopefully they just develop him right. Kellen Moore's the coach. Uh, we know Kellen Moore most recently for um,
Dallas, right? Offensive coordinator for the Cowboys,
yeah,
if
he
I
was the
remember.
offensive
Yeah.
coordinator in Dallas. He was also the offensive coordinator in with the
L.A.
Chargers. He was also the
Hmm.
offensive coordinator with the Eagles, and they won a Super Bowl with him. So,
Yep.
uh,
Hmm.
his resume is solidified. And Michael, man, we're gonna talk to you later, man. Appreciate you
Okay.
popping on, though. Okay.
Thank you,
Yep.
Mike.
All right, man. Have a
Thanks
Yeah.
for
good
Thank
one.
coming
you for
on,
having
Mike.
me. You too.
All
Anytime.
right,
Thanks for
brother.
coming on board.
Thank you.
Go Bills, man.
Go
Go
Bills,
Bills.
man. Go Bills.
All right. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, he's the quarterback. He's the
Yep.
Kellen Moore's the head coach. Spencer Rattler, 639, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception so far. Uh, so he's doing his best to take care of the football.
Yep.
They've had a bunch of injuries on the O line.
Yep.
Uh, you know,
And didn't
it
play
is
too
what it
bad
is. Like
against Arizona and San Francisco. I mean, they were competitive in
right,
those games at
right. He
home.
did.
You
He
know, he
did.
wasn't.
And I mean,
Last week was a throwaway. So.
yeah, and he had a game like last year where he almost beat the Eagles.
Hmm.
I listen. He flashes. There are times where Spencer
Yep.
Rattler will make a play, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't know he was." I
Hmm.
didn't. Well, I mean, I knew he was capable of it, but you don't expect to see it
Yeah.
because it's the Saints. Spencer Rattler is not really a highly rated not highly regarded in the NFL, but he does have talent. Um, what else? Yeah. So I took this off a player profiler. Wanted to bring up his his man versus zone coverage. As you guys know, we play a ton of zone coverage. His completion percentage against zone coverage, 75%. Um,
Mhm.
look for the Bills to maybe try to speed him up and throw some
There's some.
simulated pressures at him. Probably mug up the line with 7 or 8 guys, and then drop a few guys in coverage. Send
Mhm.
blitzes from different areas, and see if we can get him off his spot and force him to make some mistakes. One thing I do worry about with this team is the quick game because Shaheed's very quick, very fast. Uh, Obviously, Chris Olave is another guy, and Brandon
Yeah.
Cooks. Like those guys, they get the ball in their hands. You got to get a hand on them. You got to get them down. If you don't, it could be a big play. You don't want it. So those are the things that I
Absolutely.
worry about with them. As far as the Bills are concerned, uh, the injury report's very small. Uh, I don't
Hmm.
know. Did you bring you had the injury report up
I
there?
do. I
You add
actually
okay.
do.
Yeah, let's
We can
bring
put
that
that up
up.
right here.
All right,
Yep.
yeah. Like this is pretty ideal. You know,
Mhm.
um, Spencer Brown's gonna play. He was interviewed, and they asked him about it. He said, "Yeah, it's something that just kind of flared up on me, and it was felt a little weird today, but it's probably it's probably gonna be fine." So I expect him to play. Um, I expect AJ to play as well, but if there was ever a chance, like Matt and Ed are not playing, there's no
No.
reason. Uh, there's no reason to rush those guys back.
Yep.
It's the Saints, bro. Like even with AJ,
Yeah.
at this point, like if there's an opportunity to get uh Landon Jackson on the field, it's probably this game. So if
Hmm.
AJ was inactive or was held out for this game, it would not surprise me one bit. You want to get a shot with this young kid and see, you want to see what Landon Jackson do. Who knows? He may get out there and give us 2 sacks and you know, permanently find his way into some find his way into some reps. Speaking of finding their way into some reps, guys like get off of TJ Sanders. TJ Sanders won a bunch of reps against the Dolphins and they just get the ball out quick. So he just didn't get there in time to register the pressure or QB hit or whatever. It's
Hmm. I know.
I understand your opponent, guys. Like
Yep.
Tua's not going to take a ton of sacks
He gets rid
because
of the
he's
ball in
getting the ball out.
2.6 seconds. I mean, it's who's going to get to the quarterback consistently with that
Yeah,
quick of,
dude's
you know,
throwing the ball in under 2.5 seconds. So
that's not,
it's
yeah,
difficult to get sacks against them. You
I
got to
agree.
get them in long down situations and take away his first read. Then you got a
Yep.
shot at the sack. That's
Yep.
it. Get him in long down situations, you got a chance. All
Hmm.
right, back to what were we talking about?
The Saints. We were talking about the
Oh,
Saints. So,
yeah, Saints. How about Deion Walker getting the start last week, huh?
yeah, we
Getting the start at nose
you
tackle.
were, I don't know if your ears were ringing early, but you were mentioned multiple times in terms of Deion Walker, as always.
Yeah,
So
listen,
about that, especially the big play you made.
I'm not gonna take my victory lap yet. I'm gonna wait and see how
Oh,
the season ends up for him.
hmm.
But
Early returns
hey
are
guys, look,
very encouraging, though.
listen guys, yeah. Like I'm gonna pull up. I gotta find this. I saw something about separation with the wide receivers.
Hmm.
I hope did I bookmark it? Let me check. Let me check my bookmarks, man. I did not bookmark it. All right, that's on me. That's on me. I didn't bookmark it. I'll
Hmm.
find it though.
It's all good, Will.
Yeah, I'll find it. But yeah, like the separation stuff from the wide receivers, like come on, the Bills are fine.
I agree. I think it's an it's an overhyped it's an overhyped topic to me. It's just not based in reality to me. I don't sense that it's going to be a problem or it is a problem so far this season. So I guess the
I
big
hate when
thing
that happens, bro.
is that little
Go ahead.
your
I'm sorry.
bookmark.
Go ahead.
Bookmark was it a you lost one or? But about this game Sunday, it kind of goes into it's an out of conference game. It's not a juicy opponent, right? We've had extended time off. I mean, I guess you gotta guard against a letdown, so to speak, right? In this situation. But I just don't know if
Right.
this team is wired for that. It is a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. They don't have the same juice but it is at home, and that does make a difference. I mean, Buffalo games at home are always great games. But you just hope this team doesn't come out and take this team lightly, like you've illustrated. And talking about the Saints in detail, maybe they're not as bad as I thought, right? I mean, now it doesn't look good early with their returns, but again, their first two games they were competitive against Arizona and San Francisco, and both of those teams have been pretty solid this year. They have not been. San Francisco's 3-0; they're off to a pretty good start. So, I mean, it was a bad game at Seattle, but I mean, that happens to teams at times. You have those bad games. So be curious to see how they react to really an embarrassing performance at Seattle. And I'm sure they're going to want to come out and kind of right that ship early. So I think it just comes down to Whittle. If you hit them early, right? If they're going to come out with some good scripted plays. Kellen Moore's going to try to get Radler in a rhythm, try to get that offensive rhythm, get that lead. If we just hit them early, I think we take over and we're going to be just fine going forward on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, the spread is like 17 points, bro.
Yep,
So,
down. I have a live line on that. Me and I don't gamble a lot, but I'm always on it. 15 and a half. By the way, Whittle, the money line in this game is the wild thing. To win $100, you
mm,
got to bet 1,500 plus on the Bills just to win $100.
wow.
No spread, so they're a massive favorite. I mean, that's one of the biggest favorites I've seen in the NFL in a while when it comes to the money line. So, I mean, this number, it could come. This game could come down to the number though, and Vegas, I don't know. It always seems to at times. I mean, I could see the Bills just getting it done this game, like 27-10. Maybe it's one of those kind of games where it comes right down to the number. I don't ask me why, Whittle. I see it on your face already what this prediction is going to be, but that's where I'm at this point. Last week I was tempted to pick us in a closer game than I did, and I didn't. So I went against my instincts. But I'll just say this
Well,
game, we get it done. you know, maybe the Saints defense, like you said, is a little better than people realize, and maybe they play a little stronger against us at times. You
well,
What do you think?
they have a young secondary. Josh Allen's an experienced quarterback.
Hmm.
While they do have the talent on the defensive line to create some issues, we've got a really good offensive line right now, right? Like, I mean, according to the metric through the first 3 weeks, the Bills have the best pass blocking offensive line in the NFL. So I think that's what separates us from. And then on top of that, like, even when you do win, you still lose because Josh Allen will avoid the pressure and make a playoff script. So this game to me has, you know, 34-9 written all over it. We're at home. You know, the Bills are extremely difficult to defend because we can throw the ball now out of bigger sets. Like we can put 2 or 3 tight ends on the field and still throw the football. Or we can spread you out and, 10 or 11 personnel and run the football. Josh under center with the play action game is really, really dangerous. And then there's this thing that, was such a big whoop-de-doo last year. And now, the things that some of us were saying in the offseason about these wide receivers, so far it's happening. So the Bills
Mhm.
wide receivers and tight ends in average separation yards through 3 weeks. This is by Carson Hyatt. This is a tweet from him. He's a former Orchard Park Quakers quarterback, and he goes to St. Bonaventure. He's a
Hmm.
sports editor. He's affiliated with Trainwreck Sports. He's
Hmm.
an intern there. I'm gonna reach out to him. So if any of y'all know Carson, please let him know that I'm gonna reach out to him and see
Cool.
if he'd like to come on and talk some Bill stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, he put this tweet out where he listed the separation yard or average separation yards, and Josh Palmer 2.3 yards of separation. Uh, Keon Coleman, 3.4 yards of
Hmm.
separation, of average separation in his routes. Dalton Kincaid, 3.5 yards, and Khalil Shakir, 4.1 yards. So the
Wow.
biggest problem last year was we don't create enough separation. What are we going to do when we play against teams that want to go in man coverage? So now we do. It's obviously it's 3 weeks. We played the Jets, but I mean, honestly, the Jets are supposed to be, you know, a good defense. You saw what happened against the Ravens. The guys was getting cooked, like they were getting cooked. We
Yep.
were cooking those guys, like that. It's just, it is what it is, man. Like at some point, Bills fans, you guys have to believe what you're watching. You are
Hmm.
watching you are watching the deficiencies on this team get addressed every single year. And at some point, you have to accept that things are better than they were prior. I know
Yep.
that the only thing that's gonna set us up as a fan base is a Super Bowl, but like look, the Chiefs are 1-2. The Ravens are 1-2. I don't know if you've watched the Eagles this year, but Saquon Barkley's averaging like 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, the
Their
Eagles'
offensive
offensive
line
line
is
has
still
not been anywhere near
it's
what they were
it's not
last
what it was. Right.
year. Yep.
They've got a ton of injuries in the secondary. They're
Hmm.
uh they're
There's
I
been
mean
Nolan
Jalen
Smith
Hurts
on IR
won,
too.
they're winning, they're in dog fights every
Yep.
week. Dog fight with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys got a terrible defense.
Yep.
Dogfight with the Chiefs, and they came back from 19 down against the Rams, but that team is beatable. Like it's that team looks beatable. I'm not saying that they're food or they're
No, I still think they'll be much better
they're a bad
when we
team,
play them.
but
Yeah,
they're
than they are
vulnerable. Like
now.
they are
Yeah.
not in. They're not.
They'll,
They are not. Um, they are not like they're not. They're not. They're not invincible. They're not.
no, but yeah, they.
They're not.
I do expect them to be much better as the year goes on. But as of right now, we got to talk as of right now, right? The Eagles have shown vulnerabilities, but as we know, teams evolve and right ships, right, as they go through the beginning part of the year. So I wanted to ask you, speaking, you mentioned Ravens Chiefs, which I can't think of a more compelling early September game in a long time.
Mhm.
Who do you, as a Bills fan, what would you be your ideal result in this game? Because
I
teams
want
that
the
are one
Chiefs
and
to win.
two, you want the Chiefs to win, not the race. So you want to kind of get the Ravens at 1-3, kind of get maybe does that spiral them out of control? I don't want to say out of control, but it gets, maybe you know what I'm trying to say.
I think the Ravens are very close to imploding, and I
Yeah.
want the implosion to happen.
Hmm. When you're starting to see the frustration on the sidelines, you saw with Derrick Henry, even Lamar, and usually he's not like that, but some of the reactions on the sidelines, like I feel like something's going on there. And like you said, maybe they're on that cusp of, you know,
They're right there, brother. They're right there. Listen. Namdi Madubuike has a major neck injury that they have not released a ton of information about, but
Mhm.
the way that the way that Coach Harbaugh was talking about it was like he's out for the foreseeable future. Um, so what do they have? Because that guy was an All Pro 2 years ago. So what do they
Yeah.
have in response? Aside from him,
Mhm.
Aeneas Peebles, rookie out of Virginia Tech, some
Mm.
practice squad guys that they signed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. They don't have a pass rush from their edges. Always been ineffective. Van Noy hasn't really done much either this year. Mike Green looks like a bust at this point. Like I listen,
Early but
I don't
bust.
care
Yeah.
what you got. I know that people are gonna say that well, they were doing stupid stuff, dropping it back in coverage. Da, 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 da. Look, I watched the reps that he had against Deion Dawkins and against Spencer Brown and against Penei Sewell and against Taylor Decker. He
Mhm.
was getting mauled. He was getting balled up like a piece of paper. I'm sorry. He's not good.
Mhm.
Right
Yep.
now, Mike Green's not good. Malachi Starks has yet to make an impact. He had an opportunity to get an interception in week 1 against Josh Allen. He dropped it.
Mhm. Yep.
He hasn't been good. Yeah, he hasn't been great either. Marlon Humphrey was getting like in every key moment he got destroyed
Mhm.
by Amon St. Brown. And then
Yep.
if you watch that game against the Lions, I mean
Mhm.
the way that their offensive line just moved their defensive line 3-4
Mhm.
yards back, just combo blocks, pinning Travis Jones,
Mhm.
just pinning him out of the play, climbing to the second level, absolutely destroying Roquan. Bro, it was
Mhm.
great to watch. It was great to watch.
You
So
know. You
yeah,
know. You know what?
I'm very invested in them and them failing. Yeah.
I got something. I'm gonna lay a Chinese phrase on you right now. Right? It's a calque of a Chinese phrase called "zillahu." This is about the Ravens. Like, what in the world am I talking about? This refers to something or someone that claims to appear to be powerful or threatening, but is actually inefficient and unable to withstand challenge. Are the Ravens paper tigers? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm trying to
Um,
say? Like, on paper, they have great talent, but you look at teams like Buffalo, right? Even Philadelphia's had talent, but they've shown to be more of a cohesive unit. Kansas City, like they may have the individual talents, and sometimes we've seen it in other sports, right, Whittle? Like we've seen it in baseball. Where teams, the Mets. Look at the Mets in baseball. They're right in your backyard. They have all this talent. They spend the most money. They haven't been a cohesive unit, right? They haven't put it together. And is that part of the Ravens' problem? Like, are they just, dare I say, they're just overrated, or they're just missing more than the analytics would even suggest, because we know how the analytics love the Ravens too.
yeah,
But that,
I mean, I think they're soft. I think they're bullies, and then when you punch them back, they they fold up.
Will call me
They,
nuts.
they
Do they
but
remind you of us in 2020, 2021, just a little bit? Like, remember
of who?
2021, where of the Bills in 2021? Remember how when we got into a dogfight, right? Tight game. If someone punched us in the mouth, we weren't always great at responding. Like, we were great playing from ahead. Remember in 2021, we used to blow teams out. We would dominate, put up the big numbers. But
Yeah. Well, we weren't a
I think
physical
we've
team though.
transformed. Well, we transformed so much into over the last 4 or 5 years and everything.
But our identity in 2020 and 2021, we weren't
Hmm.
portraying ourselves to be a physical team. That wasn't
Yeah.
who we were. We were
Yep.
a high octane offense. We a defense that bend don't break. We are great in coverage, and we're going to squeeze these windows to give our passers time to get home. Now
Hmm.
we've changed that to now we're going to put size on the defensive line, put athletes on the defensive line to try to speed up the quarterback's window. And we have guys that behind them that are adept in coverage. We're trying to get more athletic, and we're trying to we want guys back there that are going to be opportunistic as well as make plays as well as tackle.
Yep.
So I think we
Yep.
changed our identity defensively.
We
Offensively, it's
absolutely
been a
have.
complete 180. We
Yeah.
built from the offensive line out. The quarterback is taking care of the football. We are handing the foot like we are allowing. We are running our offense based on what you're doing. So if you
Hmm.
come out there and try to match our big set, our big personnel with numbers, we're going to throw it over top. We're going to throw it
Hmm.
on. If you put little people out there, we're going to run it. So
Yep.
pick your
Yep.
poison. And then if you do a great job of defending both of those things, Josh Allen's going to take off and run, and now you got to chase him. So like that's the truncated version of what the Bills are going to do. We're going to attack you where you're weak at. Who does the great job of that? The Kansas City
Hmm.
Chiefs. They find that spot where you are weak on your defense, and they keep poking and poking and poking it and poking it until they
Hmm.
score, until they break you. So the Bills are doing
Yep.
that.
Absolutely, we are.
And
And
I got to
you
say
know,
this: the quarterback. I've been calling for leadership from the quarterback in those key moments. He showed it.
yep.
James Cook, Deion Dawkins, both interviewed different times on different platforms, both similar stories. Yeah, I'm thinking, and they're both saying basically the same thing. I'm thinking if the game's over, let's move on, week 2, whatever. And Josh said, no, we in this game. Went back
Hmm.
and like
Very calm under pressure
guys
too.
are get that's what you need, though. You need a guy like
Hmm.
that. Jalen Hurts,
Yep.
down 19,
Yep.
second quarter, go after halftime comes out, not getting anything from Saquon Barkley. What does he do? Sit in the pocket and throw the ball all over the yard for 2 quarters and puts his team in position to win a
Hmm.
football game. And they go
Yep.
out there and they respond and they block a kick twice and they win a
Hmm.
football game because of it. But they
Yep.
never
And
get that opportunity if Hurts doesn't carry that offense in the second half.
yep. And a great big
Matt
guy
Prater
touchdown
kicks
from
a
Jordan Davis.
game-winning kick.
Yep.
Right. Matt Prater kicks a game-winning kick because Josh Allen put the team in position by getting the offense going against a really talented defense.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if Ed Oliver gets that strip if we're down 2 scores. It
Hmm.
matters when he gets that strip because we're only down 1. So he gets the strip. We have a chance to tie this game up. We have a chance we're still in it now. But we don't get there if Josh doesn't rally the troops and go out there and lead by example. So,
Hmm.
that's where I'm at, man.
Yep. And you mentioned James Cook. Shout out to James Cook. I mean, he is, oh, by the way, dog said love Hurts. And I do. And listen, guys like Hurts and Allen, like you said, rising to the occasion late in the games, you can't teach those kind of things. You either have it or you don't, right? And we've
Yep.
seen many, many times of Mahomes has it. All the greats have had it, and those particular players have it. But shout out to James Cook. Can we just say that? I mean, 102 yards first week, 135 total yards week 2, 118 yards week 3. I mean, he's just cooking right now, right? And he also said, "Have you heard him on Rich Eisen? I want to be with the Bills forever." Just love hearing things like that. I mean, let's give James Cook his flowers. I mean, that was a big topic in the offseason, of course, whether we should keep him when we should not keep him, and even yours truly wasn't sure. I mean, depending on the number and things like that. But like you've said, so glad he's still rocking our red, white, and blue, and just he's
Where would
been
we be
better
without
at it.
Cook, man?
Yep.
This team would not be as good as it is if
Hmm.
we didn't have James Cook. Like
Yeah.
he is like the runs the big runs that he had against the Jets, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hmm. Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
uh, uh, it's-
A-
I
And
don't
you
even
even
know
heard
how he got out of that stuff.
and you know what? You even heard Tony. Now you were at the game, but Tony Romo just you could hear like he'd have his bike on. He's like, oh, like he was, he's a former quarterback. He gets it. He knows what he's seeing. right? And he was very, very impressed with Cook. Yeah, but
Yeah,
just can't say enough
there's
things about.
there's some really good running backs in the NFL. They are.
Yeah, yeah,
The James Cook special, like he's different.
mhm, yeah, yeah,
You see it when he gets the football. He's
mhm,
different.
yep.
There's only a few running backs like that.
And you know what? For all Bills fans out there, oh, all you have is Josh Allen. Oh, you're forgetting number 4. Do not forget number 4 in offense, folks. He is becoming a star in our front, right in front of our eyes. So it's time to start putting him in that star player equation going forward, and that's a huge boom for the Buffalo Bills for the next.
One
Not
more
just
player I want to shout out.
what you got.
That's also becoming a go-to player for this offense. Keon Coleman.
Yes, yes.
Third down, Keon Coleman. Third downs. Keon
Mhm.
Coleman's getting the most targets out of all of the
Yeah.
guys.
We got
He's
to
getting the
patent
most
something like
targets.
Whittle. We got to patent something for you, like Whittle draft special or something. Like, we got Keon Coleman, we got Deion Walker, and the funniest thing, folks, anybody listening, we didn't. Whittle's mentioned this just one time. These guys were mentioned many times before they got drafted as your favorite guys. You're gonna come up with some kind of catchy slogan or something for that and patent it.
I got beat up. I got beat up a lot because people
Mhm.
wanted Xavier Worthy. They wanted Xavier Leggett. Well,
Yeah,
Worthy's hurt and Leggett stinks. Like Leggett
yeah.
hasn't been good. He hasn't been good.
No, he is not.
Has
He
not
is
been
not.
good.
Mm-mm.
A.D.
He's
Mitchell, another guy that everybody was high on. Where is he at? What is he doing?
AD Mitchell, the one thing I'll say about him, it could be a numbers game. With the Colts have some good receivers, by the way. Can I say that?
Brother, if you good, you good. If you're
I
good, you're
guess
good.
that's,
I'm
he
sorry.
got some good. Yeah, I guess you're right, especially considering where he was drafted, right? I mean, Downs, but
If you
Downs
can
is a
play, you
slot
can play.
guy. Yeah, I guess that's true, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll give him a little more time, but I understand your point. Absolutely.
Yeah, that like
Yes,
it's just if you a hooper, you a hooper, man. If you can play, you can play. You're gonna get on the field. That's
you
just
got it.
just
You
what it
got it, brother.
is.
Absolutely. But I,
Yeah.
I must be getting out of here pretty soon myself, but I do want to get you for a score prediction as we usually do for
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, 38-9.
38-9? Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
Cover the
I don't
big
think it's gonna
spread.
be close, but I think we're gonna blow the doors off them. I think
Yeah.
Trubisky's in the game for the fourth quarter,
Okay.
and
Oh, you mean our quarterback's not going to pad stats like another quarterback in the MVP race the last couple of years, late in games? Or by the way,
yeah,
Whittle, can
well,
I can I, can I toot my own horn from last week on one last comment? Yours truly
sure,
picked the Browns to beat the Packers last week on this pod. I'm going
you
to
did,
take my
you
flowers
did.
on that. I'm telling you. I'll tell you what. That Browns defense, Whittle, they are real. They are good. I mean, even that Baltimore game, if you really want, like they gave him 41 points. It definitely wasn't anything like that. Steve coming in with his play. Steve coming into the chat late. So, but and also 716. Good to see you, Robbie. Good predictions, and I like these scores better than my 27-10. Yeah, those Browns are, watch out for the Browns, man. They got the Lions. I'm curious how they play this week against Detroit in Detroit, because Detroit announced to the league Monday night, don't forget about us over here. We're still that that was they that drive they had, that 98-yard drive, that was impressive. That was almost 20
I was
plays.
about to say which one. They had two.
Yeah, they had so
they had
many. Yeah,
they had
that's
two
true.
drives from
They did.
inside the five. So
Yeah, their
yeah,
skill players are so good, Whittle. They are so good. I mean, they're just loaded everywhere. So, but maybe we'll see them. We'll see them afterwards. But that's all I had today,
maybe
Will. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll see them in not Pasadena, in Santa Clara. I wish it was in
yeah.
Pasadena, right in my backyard, but
Listen, there are there are two teams I think that are very capable of taking the Eagles down.
Mhm.
Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think both of
Yeah,
those teams
and that's another
are
big game
capable
this
of taking
Sunday.
the Eagles down.
That's another big
That
game
listen,
because
Tampa Bay's kind of hurt. Tampa Bay's kind of hurt right now. They lost Kalijah
Mhm,
Cansey for the year. Um, Tristan Wirfs is not back yet. Mike Evans is out, and they
mhm.
also lost. And what's my
They
guy's
lost their
name?
defensive tackle. Didn't they lose their D tackle? Not next to
Yeah,
Vayak.
that's
Who's
that's
that?
Kalijah Cansey. Yeah, it's Kalijah
Oh,
Cansey.
Kajikansi, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who else did they lose?
What's this other guy? Godwin's not back yet either. But
there's rumors he might come back
Godwin
this week.
and Tristan.
Um,
You said what?
there's rumor he might play this week, but I haven't seen anything confirmed on
Yeah,
that.
him and Wirfs might play this week. But
Yeah.
if they don't,
No.
if they don't listen,
Yep.
Bucky
hmm
Irving, Rashad White, Emeka Buka, Cade Otton, Baker
Yep.
Mayfield, get it done.
And
You
listen, and
know,
the Eagles are gonna. It's tough to repeat in this league. It's very, very tough. I mean, and but again, like the Chiefs, I'm not writing Eagles off until I see it later in the year. But you're right; they do have things they got to work on. They have shown some
see,
vulnerabilities here, especially on their line. It's the line that kind of opened my eyes the most with them a little bit. It's not as fluid and strong as it usually is, but again, this is September. September produces unusual results at times in the NFL. And listen, the team we're playing Sunday. Remember last year after their first two games? Oh, New Orleans is cooking everybody. They got a great offense. They're going to be, juggernaut. And we all saw what happened to them as the year went on. So
yeah.
just got to be a little mindful of that, folks, as you go forward. To
Same thing
be
after week one this year, the Jets. And they put up
the
all those
Jets.
yards against the Steelers, yards
Yeah.
and points against the Steelers. They said, we're
Oh,
going to
they
play
were
bully ball. We're going to play bully ball on you guys.
no June, no
See
June
how that
today.
worked
Too.
out. Oh, June, yeah, June. Listen,
June
June is
hiding
making
right now.
mock drafts. Yeah, he's focused on Saturdays now.
Well,
He's focused on
I'm gonna.
Saturdays.
I was mean to Reptar in a space. He said, "Oh, I want 0-17." I said, "No, I need you to win about 7 games just to, kind of go through what we did in the drought." So, and then Steve says the Colts come back to reality this weekend. I agree. I think the Rams take them out this week. Colts have been a great story, but again, that's a team. They've been interesting. And one last thing I want to get your thought on because I'm in a group with a bunch of Giant fans, right? And we're all debating. Some of them don't like decisions, some do. Do you think it's the right call to go to Jackson Dart now
Yeah,
for the Giants? Yeah.
yeah. I think Jackson Dart was ready to start week one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because some are just saying no. He needs a season. I mean, he's got 45 college games under his belt. He's ready to go. He's played in the SEC. I think he was under a pro coach at Ole Miss. Like, I'm not that concerned. And he's going to take his lumps. I mean, there's no question. Just like our guy did his first year too. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. But that's all I had. Any last thoughts, Whittle, before we depart for the week?
Um, just go Bills, man. Like
Just go Bills,
let's
yeah.
get to 7-0. Oh, real
Yeah.
quick, Maxwell Harrison
Yes.
back in practice. Still
Yes.
not. Did
Oh,
you talk about this already? No.
no, we did not actually. I'm
Okay.
glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So let's do that briefly before we go.
Yeah.
So,
Maxwell
any
Harrison
thoughts
back
on
in practice,
any
wearing a
thoughts on what
brace. Go ahead. Go
McDermott
ahead.
said? McDermott said about we gotta kind of keep taper down the expectations. You think that's a bad sign, or you think he's just being cautious?
I think it's a good sign, and the good sign of that they're comfortable with what we have already to not rush this young man back. I'm
hmm
fine if they keep him out for 2 months. Like, just I need him to be healed 100% because the one thing you don't want to happen is him to rush back and try to get on the field and really, tear it. That's what you don't want. So take the
hmm
time, heal, rest it up, build up the strength, and let's see where he is in a couple of weeks. I'm good with that. I thought Dorian Strong played well. I thought Trey White has played fine. So, you know, it's-
Absolutely. So you're right. I agree. I think we put ourselves in a position where we don't have to rush Hairston. And
right.
considering that we have the Saints, the Patriots next Sunday night. So that's what we'll do just leading into next week. We'll talk about Stefan Diggs' return to Orchard Park next week. That should be interesting as always.
Right.
And in our new jerseys, we'll be debuting those on Sunday night. So we'll look forward to that. And again, if you look at
Yep.
that game, and then I think we got Atlanta after that. You called Penix, by the way.
No,
I'll leave that alone.
yeah, Penix, yeah.
Yeah, that's but we
Penix is terrible.
yeah, he's not doing that well. I may have been wrong on Penix, but
Yeah.
again, that we're in a great position. So again, with Maxwell Hairston, supposedly the brace, I guess, was a little bigger. I mean, but it could just be to protect them. I mean, you got to be careful. The Bills, like
Yeah.
Capaccio said once, the Bills are very careful with injuries, which I'm glad. Again, we put ourselves in that position where we can do that. They don't have to rush these guys back. So
Right.
take as much time as you need, Max. We'll see you around Halloween. That's what I say when we really need them for those big games down the stretch. And that's all I had. I'm going to say go Bills and thank everybody in the group chat as always. You guys are great. Whittle, great to see you as always. And again, thanks to everyone. Thanks to Mike for popping on for a little bit too. That was great as well. Go Bills.
Bills.